Hey, welcome to the Poditivity Ranker, where I use AI to find Australia's most positive podcast. Today I ran the ranker on 20th Century Boy, which is a podcast by Radio Mike where he discusses all things about being a 20th century boy. So it's been recommended to me by a couple people, George from Hump Day Replay and Jack from Jackie Road Studios. And I think the reason's pretty obvious because straight out the bat, you can tell just how positive and creative Radio Mike is, and it really does show in his podcast. So I ran the ranker and it came out with an 8.3, which is the third highest I've reviewed so far, and it's very positive. So listening to season 2, episode 1 of the podcast, Radio Mike talks about all the different creative people he's worked with and is working with. You know, he talks about Hamish and Andy, he talks about Will Anderson on Willosophy and different, radio shows. And I think what this shows me is just how much being around creative and positive people can really give you permission in your own life to kind of explore your own creative outlets. And, this is kind of obvious, like looking even at Jack Post, who's been with, Hamish and Andy since I can remember and is working on a number of other things now. But, he's got his own podcast, he's in a band with Radio Mike. And, even George, like you're seeing it early days where with the Daily Talk Show, George was doing, some work for them, but also then started creating the Hump Day Replay videos and now has his own podcast. And, it's exciting there to see where that's going to go. And really what I think it comes down to is just being around people who are creative and positive gives you permission in yourself to kind of go be creative and positive. So, there's this real kind of interesting feedback effect, it seems, with positivity and creativity. And I think if there's one thing to take out of looking at, these positive podcasts is that it's selfless to be creative, I feel. So thanks for listening and stay tuned for the next episode of the Poditivity Ranker.